guys, it's PM Mathis, your local indie author distributor, and I hope that you've had a great and glorious what hump day. Yes, love that. I did. Well, I've been feeling kind of emotional lately. I do have a lot of life situations going on. I'm in the process of moving. You probably, I don't know if you can tell or not, the disruption in my room. And so we're finally going to be in the process of, getting, to move in the next couple of weeks. So that's great. So I can get my, organization back at least, at home. But then, I have an aunt who's not doing well as far as I see it. Now, I could be wrong, but I pray that I am wrong. But I don't want to have false hope either. So I'm kind of torn there. Just trying to get my Young Living business up and running and continuing on with my writing. And then networking as I walk through this process to make connections with other people. And trying to grow myself. Because it's going to take a tribe, a team, in order to build the business that God would have me be in, which is, I think, is hilarious because God knows who I am. He knows how beneficial it is for me to make one-on-one connections. And so I am going to walk that out. I am going to put on my big girl panties and just, do what God has asked me to do because I believe in this product. I have watched it work in my own life. I have seen how it is changing my lifestyle and the thought process and helping me to clean up, those things that I once thought were okay to use. And I don't know if I really thought that they were okay to use, but they was probably the cheapest thing going, and I just needed to do what I needed to do with it. But to be more conscious of, what I put in my mouth, allow to be on my body, to allow to come into my domain, it's really key. So, in order to help and to be a benefit to you, I want to make sure that I am in the right frame of mind. So, I am walking this out by faith. I am walking it out. A lot of it is doing it afraid. I am walking it out with a peace of mind, knowing that God has my back and He will make come to pass all those things that are necessary for this journey that I'm on. So let's go ahead and get into the word. Remember, this is my series, Are You Getting Head? And this one is called Unsure If Heard. We're talking about Daniel 9, and this is where we had the confession of Daniel about disobedience to God and the need to turn that around and allow God to forgive him for those things that he considered, outside of the will of God. And a lot of times we walk in so many ways and in so much time we spend walking outside the will of God. And you know what? The simplest thing to do is just simply ask God, what would you have me do in this situation? And then be quiet and listen and walk it out. So, that's what I'm in the process of doing. And I would encourage, any and everyone who watches this and who feels the need and are compelled to share, that we spend the time in the Word because it holds everything that we need. It holds every promise. It holds every soothing of our soul and our heart. And it just gives great peace of mind if we allow it. And so, guys, I want to always, always, always encourage you to do what? Study, study, study the word for yourself. Like I always say, this is just my commentary. I pick up, I'm in the book of Daniel. I just go through the chapters. I am inspired to just write down some words. As a writer, that's just simply what I do. I enjoy reading and writing about what I read. And this is just what I picked up from the word. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. And this is my series, Are You Getting Head? Unsure If Heard. A breakthrough has not come. Because that's what we're all looking for. If we have a promise, a dream, and a purpose that we're expecting God to lay out before us, and it just hasn't come. So then what do? So you wonder, is God even listening? You repeat the request assuming God did not understand what you asked, because it is obvious, because the answer is no. And the response that you are tending with is, God, what's up? What's happening? What's going on? Because, we just really assume that God hasn't heard because there is no answer. And sometimes maybe that answer just is simply no. And the funny thing about, not thinking that God has heard us, he knows our end from our beginning. He places every desire, every want, every, need in our life. And so to even think that he doesn't hear or that he doesn't know what we need is kind of laughable. But we walk through that phase sometimes, that we just really think that God is not hearing us. Your prayers are live and in action because God is not a respecter of anyone seeking his guidance. That is why you didn't have to treat God as if he has human emotions. This fact is very valuable when learning to work with God. We have to understand that, like you're talking to somebody and they just, there's something else interesting going on, and you just feel like you're not being validated because they're not listening and they're not responding. God is not a human, so we can't treat him like one. We have to ask, we have to put it out there. It says, the Bible clearly says, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be answered and he'll come in. Sometimes we've just not prepared ourselves to hear the word of God, and we just not prepared that table for him to be welcome to. And so we have to always look at where we are, what things are going on in our lives, and ask, are we really spending that time, or have we made a welcome mat for God? The hope is that you would spread your wings, and even though you might be afraid of the heights that you will find yourself at times, hold out the drawing that you are sketching to see yourself clearly. Know that as long as you have followed the design, you will get to where you are destined to be. Set the example of living the dream. That will gain you influence. Then use that momentum to show others how to gain their success. The door is opening. How high will you set the bar? You want others to follow your lead. So set that bar high, because the bigger the goal, the more we have to rely on God. So make people understand that, not right here where I can handle it, but up here, because then it's too high. It goes over my head. And so God has to step in, because that's what we ultimately want, is to God to be the one who finances the dream, who makes the dream possible, who puts the right people in place for the dream. So, hey guys, this is PM Mathis, your local indie author distributor. This has been my series, Are You Getting Head? Unsure If Heard. Hey guys, this is a great and glorious hump day, and I want you to always be blessed. Have a great rest of your evening. Talk to you later. Bye.